June the 11th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at satellite images of our Gulf of Mexico. Party, you've been getting inundated all day, and there's a couple of changes in the wind pattern. We've seen, of course, the stripping in the top right of everything moving from left to right, taking the top of the clouds off, called wind shear. But if you look a little further south around Cuba right now, it's starting to move more south. Look at the upper level winds moving south across Cuba like this and moving down. Also, these are the highest, strongest storm clouds on the map right here on the Yucatan. But notice the amount of moisture being pulled in from such a wide area, and basically the entire Caribbean is funneling this moisture into here. Now, we mentioned in the video this morning that most droughts are followed by floods, and that may be well what we're seeing. Florida, you may be getting one break here from too much rain, and if there is such a thing, is because of this movement to the south. Notice how it's pushing back across Cuba again, like I was saying. That's stripping some of these clouds that this morning appeared to be following this spin, this rotation. But notice how much thinner it is here, since this upper level shear is coming across a line right there. See that edge where the clouds are being pushed back? Well, that is pushing it back across Cuba, and it's welcoming, by the way, the Russian Navy. They're getting a little Gulf of Mexico rain, maybe for the first time, who knows. I think they got a nuke sub and a couple of other things with them. But anyway, again, Florida, you may be seeing a break because of this change in the wind patterns. Let me change this over slightly to some of the radar and the infrared. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, before I do that, again, this is the strongest or the highest top cloud patterns right here. Everything's kind of slowing down right here. It looks like it's trying to get ready for a change in direction. It's not just me that realizes what's about to happen here because of that change, but the U.S. Navy is watching it also. Now, taking a look at the infrared, guys, you can see the cloud tops, and the highest are here on the Yucatan Peninsula. Look how black they get and almost go back into white. That's just telling you the strength and height of the storms. This is a very hot area. You've got moisture pumping in again from the Caribbean, and the area is changing. But here's that line of moisture I was talking about. Now, you've got that spin up that's just south of Tampa Bay. You're probably getting some rain into the southern sections of the bay now. But notice how much of this has been stripped away, and even south of this rotation point, which has been producing very high storms all day long, and is still chugging them out. But even in South Florida, this is starting to get pushed down across the Florida Straits, and all you guys down in Cuba, and it's going to end up in Jamaica, you're getting some moisture. I don't know the drought situation there, but in the summertime, good rains without a hurricane are usually a good thing. But right here, guys, this area is starting to change, and let's take a look at that. Now, let's zoom this satellite in just a moment here. Here is, I think, part of the problem area, and right in this area here. What's going to happen, since this is not being clipped at the top and pushed to the right or to the east, it's going to be pushed into the Bay of Campeche, and it's very warm waters there. But again, you can see down here in the bottom corner, storm after storm bringing moisture into all of this. And it looks like, when you start seeing these feathers, clouds here, that it's sensing a change. Now, let's go to NavGem, the Navy model. Watch what happens. Again, here's the storm that's going to pull across Florida, and they're showing us a low pressure offshore. Right here, coming off the Yucatan, where we're starting to see those changes. Watch what happens here, guys. And it moves very quickly. This is coming in, and we know the model's changed. But right in the Sabine River, a little east of Houston, Texas there, right into that pass. See that? Right along the border of Texas and Louisiana. Now, the timestamp on this, let's pause it. Right here, we're up to the 17th. The day's the 11th. So, guys, that would be, let me check my calendar real quick. 17th would be this coming Monday. It will be coming, if that's, so we've got a few days out. But then, watch what happens, and as I pull this forward. Right there, we're now still into the 17th, about to go into the 18th here. So it looks like it would be coming ashore at 0000 hours midnight. Now this would be early in the morning, depending on where you're at, but this would be Central Time. So we know this will change, but this is what they're looking at. Now the Canadian model also sees a couple of storms moving in from the same area. Now, one thing about the Navy model, they're the most conservative, and when it gets down to landfall, the most accurate. But if you think about it, they have the most vested interest in any type of storms in the oceans around the planet. Just step this through again. It's going to move quickly. We're just 2 days into it. It's the 18th. Notice that right there. Moves up through East Texas. Then it's going to be hard to tell. There's a high pressure pushing back in, and anything else that forms, more than likely in the Gulf, would be moved across Florida or in this area, following this low pressure along this green area, because it does not like to fight these high pressure areas, and this is the blocking or the escape route for these storms. Let's take a look at the Canadian model. Again, it shows it slightly different, but they are showing that something's coming into this center part of the Gulf of Mexico and headed north. Now, I will start this today on the 11th. Again, CMC is the Canadian model, and you'll see basically some of the same activity. The one thing about the Canadian model, it goes out a little further in time than the Navy model, so pay attention to that. Play it forward. Here's your storm coming across Florida, moving up the East Coast. We don't know what that's going to do yet. But again, the activity's coming off the Yucatan. One storm into Louisiana and a stronger storm coming into central Texas. That's because we're going out to June the 21st, so that's 10 days out. But that's telling us, guys, everything's getting very active very quickly. And I wanted to just come in and touch base, let you know what's going on. Tampa Bay, you're still under the gun of that small spin-up section of the low pressure. And again, it's very fortunate that we had these upper-level wind shears, because if that thing would have just settled in the Gulf without being stripped, it may have become a tropical depression or storm, but it would have doubled the rain amount that Florida would be getting, because now it's being pushed back down south. So all our friends in Yucatan, down in Cuba, through that area, you've got a lot of moisture coming at you. Take advantage of it while you can. I hope you don't have any mountainous flash flooding and landslides, because it looks like some pretty heavy rain. Again, just a quick video, guys. This is important that we pay attention to what's happening. The weather patterns are changing, and they're becoming more violent. It's a heads up. Be safe.